Did Caesar talk about the empty tomb?
All right, let's see it.
Well, not directly, but we do have an incredible piece of evidence in antiquity that's called the Nazareth Inscription. They discovered this in Nazareth, hence the name.
This inscription was not discovered in Nazareth. This inscription was purchased from an antiquities dealer in the late 19th century in Nazareth, because Nazareth in the 19th century, just like Jerusalem, had become a center for the antiquities trade. And antiquities from all over the Mediterranean and West Asia came into places like Nazareth and Jerusalem to be sold. There are absolutely no data whatsoever that connect this inscription to Nazareth in the 1st century CE. This inscription is connected with an entirely different location in antiquity. However, this paper, published about 5 years ago, establishing the provenance of the Nazareth inscription, using stable isotopes to resolve a historic controversy and trace ancient marble production, demonstrated that the stone of this inscription was quarried from a specific quarry on the island of Kos, which is a part of the nation of Greece, but is just off the southwest coast of Turkey. So this inscription was almost certainly not only executed, but put on display on the island of Kos, and we're going to find out why in just a moment.
But what's significant about Nazareth? This is the city where Jesus grew up. He's called Jesus of Nazareth, so that town is associated with him. And Nazareth is this kind of podunk town, certainly less than 1,000 people. And the Caesar of the Roman Empire decides that it's important to send this edict to this town. Listen to this. Edict of Caesar. If anyone has in any manner extracted those who have been buried, oh wow, he's talking about people being removed out of tombs, or has moved with wicked intent those who have been buried to other places, committing a crime against them, or has moved sepulcher sealing stones, tomb sealing stones, I wish that that person would suffer capital punishment. So here you find the most powerful man in the ancient world that finds it necessary to send an edict. And by the way, he reigns from 41 to 54 AD, within 2 decades of the crucifixion resurrection. He finds it necessary to send an edict to Nazareth talking about bodies being removed out of tombs. Why? Because news of an empty tomb was turning his empire upside down.
So this content creator is rather arbitrarily identifying the Caesar who issued this edict as Claudius, who reigned from 41 to 54 CE. And there are no data that support that identification. The data that do exist point pretty firmly in the direction of Augustus being the Caesar who issued this edict, and this edict being issued around or after 20 BCE. And the reason is that we know this inscription came from Kos, and there is a famous example of the desecration of a tomb and a corpse that happened on Kos. And this poem by Chronagoras of Mytilene tells the story. Tell me not that death is the end of life. The dead, like the living, have their own causes of suffering. Look at the fate of Nicias of Kos. He had gone to rest in Hades, and now his dead body has come again into the light of day. For his fellow citizens, forcing the bolts of his tomb, dragged out the poor, hard-dying wretch to punishment. So Nicias was known by a number of writers as the tyrant of Kos. And this occurred, again, around or after 20 BCE. And this is by far the most likely catalyst for the Roman emperor issuing an edict to be put on display in that location, prohibiting, upon pain of death, the desecration of a tomb or a corpse. So this has absolutely nothing to do with Nazareth or with Jesus. This is about the desecration of the corpse of a ruler on the island of Kos who died in 20 BCE. And the fit for this video is the King of Soul.